Alright, so welcome back to my channel. If you're tuning in, thanks for watching. I'm doing another drawing here today. I actually wanted to do a little bit more of a bigger project this time. This is an idea that I had. I mean, it's not like original or anything like that, but I just wanted to kind of practice some painting skills and everything. And I just really liked, I like Pegasus. They're cool. And I just felt a little bit inspired to actually do something a little bit more out of my comfort zone. I've had a gouache set for quite a while now, and I just haven't used it too much. I've only painted maybe like 4 times with it since I've had it. Also, I'm doing this voice recording outside again, so if you hear a bunch of birds chirping or random noises, or if it sounds kind of windy or whatever, that's why. So yeah, anyways, back to the drawing. I start with a light kind of palomino color. I just really like that kind of color of horses, but this painting went through quite a journey. My intention was to do colored pencil over it, so I left it kind of plain and flat, because like I said, I intended to add more detail with colored pencil. The colored pencils definitely do help take it out of this horrifically ugly phase. But after I looked back on the footage and just had some time to kind of think on it, if I could have done anything differently with the wings, I definitely would have made them golden, like more of a lighter gold than the horse's coat color, because I just think that just sounds like such a more pretty sort of idea. But I still kind of like how it turned out with the darker wings. I was kind of using vultures as a reference. And, they have those dark kind of scraggly wings, and that's kind of what I was going for, almost like a fallen angel sort of thing. You'll have to let me know what you think, and if you think golden wings would have been better. So I really don't show much of me doing the background because, as you can see, it's hideously ugly, and I despise it, so I do end up kind of just scratching that whole thing out. But here I go in with the colored pencils. I actually really like how the colored pencil turned out in most of it. I think at some point I started to add a little bit too much detail, and I don't know if I overdid it or something, but you'll have to let me know what you think. I'm kind of still pretty new at this, but I really like the aesthetic of watercolor or gouache and then the colored pencil details over the top. I just always think it looks so fun and kind of storybook like. Yeah, it's a fun look. Okay, so right about here is where I just completely changed the background because I am not good at doing like landscapes or anything like that, and it wasn't turning out how I really wanted. I definitely wanted something that looked more stylized and cute and more like simple, either blocky shapes or just something more, I don't want to say abstract, but I guess maybe a little bit more abstract. So I just totally switched it up and just went with a plain gray. I end up adding a little bit more like texture to it a little later, but I like it way more than what was going on before. And then the horse wasn't standing out quite as much as I was wanting, so I end up giving it a white border, which definitely makes it stand out better. I don't know if it's like the best thing I could have done to help it, but I liked it way more than how it was just kind of melting into the background as it was. So yeah, I'm just still learning how to do things like and make them actually look nice artistically, I've only had like a couple art classes in college, nothing like super crazy or formal training or anything like that. So I know that there's all sorts of different tricks and techniques that you can use to make things actually look nicer, like the rule of thirds and blah blah blah. So I only know some stuff here and there, and other stuff I've just kind of picked up from other artists that I like, and just kind of apply that to what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know. How did you guys learn how to do stuff? Are you artists? Do you like to do these sorts of things and learn this kind of stuff? You'll have to let me know. Also, it is really beautiful up where I am doing this recording. It's actually at my job, and sometimes I get a lot of free time, so I can kind of work on my little edits up here, and it's really beautiful with all the birds, so I'm kind of just like letting the bird sounds come through, and the nature sounds, because it's super pretty, so I hope that that's something that you enjoy. One more big change that I do to this piece is, well, you're gonna see here in a second, but I just literally chop it in half because I hate the whole upper half and I didn't see any point in keeping it. So here's me adding a little bit more texture and differentiation inside of the gray so it's not just like straight up boring gray. And then there's me kind of cropping it down to a size that I like a little bit better. I really do like how that looked so much more. I think if I could change another thing, again, just like kind of looking back, I would definitely have taped the edges to give it a cleaner border. Yeah, but I did not do that, so I think next time I will. Also, doing that little bottom edge was very satisfying. And then I was just cleaning up a little chunk that I did right there that I hated, and yeah, that's the finished piece. This, all in all, it took me a really long time. I think it took me like 5 hours to complete this one. But yeah, pretty proud of it. I thought it looked really cute. Anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Have a good one.